Hair check? Yeah? All right, sick. Welcome to episode 3, Transition Takes, starring Wavy Dev, featuring X Mason. This is the show that has an all-time great haircut. Let's just take a second to appreciate how good my hair looks. Round of applause? No? No one? Okay. And apparently, also the show that still believes the Heat will win in 7.
No, we don't. I was spewing, bro. I was happy. We made a lot of threes. I think we made 3 threes today.
We'll get into that later. But thank you for tuning in. If you end up enjoying the show, please do hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell. I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's episode, DUBBY, your taste buds' favorite energy drink. Today I'm drinking the Beach and Peach flavor, which is a mix of beach and mango. Once again, DUBBY hit it out of the park with this flavor. Use code XMASON at checkout for 20% off your order today. We have an absolutely packed show. We spent about an hour messing around with audio and visual stuff, so we really need to be moving.
It's about the same as last week.
Yep. We're going to get into a little bit of the NBA playoffs, of course, some NFL draft recap, and NFL futures as well. Ooh. All right, and much more. Devin, life update, what do you got going on?
Same as last week. Working and watching hoops. I guess now the NFL draft.
You live a pretty boring life.
Yeah, it's not much to do.
I just got back from Vegas, and I haven't taken a breathalyzer, but I think there's still alcohol somewhere in the system.
Just feel it.
I had a fantastic time. Like I said, absolutely stacked show, so we're going to get into some sports.
All right, sound good.
We're going to go ahead and start on Lakers versus Nuggets. I really want to hone in on the Lakers.
Yes.
Because we'll talk more about the Nuggets when we talk Wolves Nuggets. Question. What does losing in 5 mean for LeBron's legacy? Which, of course, we're not actually asking that question because we're not one of those shows.
Yeah.
The actual question is, what moves can the Lakers make this offseason to get over the hump?
You want to start us off?
I'll let you start, man.
All right. Assuming LeBron stays and doesn't leave, and if D'Lo takes his player option,
I think he already said he won't.
Okay, well, if they bring him back and LeBron, him or Reeves need to go. Mm-hmm. They can't have both of them. D'Lo just had a career year. They both had their struggles in the playoffs. I feel like D'Lo had better games than Reeves, but Reeves is younger. But he's also probably a higher trade piece. So maybe they use him to trade for one of these players in the market. But
I think they do end up trading D'Lo, but it'll be a sign-in trade.
That's what I think will happen. But if they really want to get a good, genuinely good player back, they'll trade Reeves. But they also really need to get bench depth. That bench was horrible. I think up until the last game or two, the only person to score on their bench was Taurean Prince.
Yeah,
it was. They need more shooting on that team as well, while keeping the defense.
Easier said than done. My initial answer is, and more than likely what's going to happen is they're going to fire Darvin Ham. I think that the reason they were the 7th seed and had to play Denver so early is because for the first 50 games of the year he was starting Prince, he's not a bad player, but he just wasn't a part of their best 5. Rui should have been the starter the whole time. And they may have been the 3, 4, 5 seed, and then you avoid Denver at least for a little while.
I think Rui was going through injuries though at the beginning of the season. I could be wrong, but yes, I agree.
Not from what I saw, but that maybe my sources are incorrect.
There was a part of the season where he had a little bit
of injuries. Excuse me. And of course, I'd like them to upgrade from D'Lo. I think Reeves is a more steady hand. You kind of know what he's going to give you. D'Lo will hit 7 threes one game and then score 0 points the next game. So there is a trade out there, and apparently the Lakers are very much interested in making the trade for Trae Young. So if you package a sign-and trade of D'Lo, probably Rui, and a couple of picks, you can get Trae.
I think that'd have to be a 3-teamer.
I ran a trade generator thing, and it said that trade works salary cap.
Yeah, it goes through, but they don't want Debo. They'll either get him and trade him right away, or add a third team.
But I mean, look at what the Blazers did with Drew Holiday. So they got Drew back with Lillard, but then they just traded Drew,
which might be what happens.
Right, with D'Lo. And overall, they have to hope LeBron stays.
Yeah.
otherwise, all of that is completely null and void because then they're tearing it down.
Just trade everybody with value that's not young.
Yeah, which isn't a lot of people on that team.
That's it.
And that segues us perfectly into the next question. How confident are you that LeBron is going to stay with the Lakers this offseason?
Probably 60-40 towards the yes. 60% yes, just because he's made a home there. He's old, but the other 40% is his wife might want to move. Like at this point, he's got to think.
Do you
family.
see that on Twitter or something?
He came out and tweeted, "I have to talk to my family. It's their decision as much as mine."
But who is your source that says Savannah wants to leave LA?
No, I'm saying she might.
Might want. So we're speculating.
But to be fair, she did say she misses Miami. She did say this while in LA.
Dude,
while in LA.
Heat fans are so down bad right now.
No, but that's a video on the internet. But I think the only way he leaves is to a few teams, Warriors being one of them, the Heat being the other, and then maybe like the Cavs or the Sixers. But
I would hate to see him on the Warriors. I would love to see him play with Steph. I don't see that happening.
I don't either. I just think those are the only four teams.
Steph's team, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're missing a huge team, and the team I would want him to play on. So I think it's 1,000% on the board that he does leave. I don't think that it will happen.
Yeah.
I think he's going to stay. I wish that he would leave because I don't think the Lakers are going to compete for a championship anytime soon. What's really kind of sad is that the Lakers, essentially since they won the chips with Pau and Kobe, have been the worst run team in basketball. And they lucked into a championship because LeBron wanted to go to LA for movies and endorsement deals. Otherwise, they would still have been in NBA obscurity this whole time. And they still continue to just abuse the fact that they have the greatest player of all time on their roster.
And Anthony Davis. Horribly ran team.
I want him to go to the Knicks. That's where I want him to go.
Oh, yeah, I did forget about the Knicks.
That's an unlikely one, too, because of who their owner is. And I guess his agent has problems with Jalen Rose. I think he's the GM of the Knicks.
He's the GM?
I think so.
No way.
Yeah, so the whole thing, it's unlikely he goes to New York, but I would like to see that. Yeah. He could make one of those weird teams that has been awful but relevant because it's New York.
Yeah.
Right? So I'd like to see that. I doubt it. I think he's going to sign a 3-year matched contract with LA with a player option after the second year and probably end up retiring after that second year. Yeah. Now that I'm on the LeBron's the GOAT
side
train, I'm really just going to appreciate every dribble of basketball that I get to watch from him.
As you should.
And if he does, if he ends up retiring this offseason, which I don't think is going to happen, but if he did, then just thank you, LeBron, for 20 years of 21 years of just basketball at its highest level and just being one of the greatest people to play the game too. Just no controversies outside of announcing his free agency decision on
live TV.
That's the only thing he ever did. But other than that, just shout out LeBron.
Outside of so what team would you want LeBron to go to?
The Knicks. If I was just God and I could just pick him up and put him somewhere, it'd be New York.
Obviously, it'd be like
they'd probably trade Julius Randle,
which is good. But yeah,
because Randle's a horrible playoff player. Yes. I think the Knicks would be the championship favorites next year if they had LeBron.
No doubt.
Or at least the favorites in the East.
Yeah.
Although Vegas really likes Boston.
Yeah.
All right, as I said, loaded show. Moving on quickly, we're going to talk about the Wolves and the Suns. Again, this will focus mostly on the Suns since we'll talk about the Wolves more later. And I'll ask you, what does this sweep mean for Durant and the Suns? Where do they go from here?
So Beal's gone. Beal has to go. That's a no-brainer.
He's untradeable, man.
He's so untradeable. But there's teams like,
and he has no trade clause.
Oh yeah, dude. They just they messed up so bad trading for him. They have to somehow get him out of there. If they can't, they're in poverty the next 5 years.
Yeah, it's.
But one of those three, if not all three, has to go. I think the only one you keep if you are trading to is Booker because he's the youngest. But that team was built horribly. I said it from the jump. They don't have depth outside of their three and then Nurkic. They have nothing.
Respectfully, who's going to guard them though?
Jaden McDaniels. That's who's going to guard him.
Yeah, that whole team was built with the idea that somehow you don't need a point guard.
That's why
which is crazy to me.
That owner screwed up. He came in. Oh, I'm just going to trade for the top players.
They called it new owner syndrome, which. Yeah, no. The biggest problem is Beal. He's untradeable, has a no-trade clause. He has the worst contract in the league, and he played awful against Minnesota. And he's old. And injury-prone. He played 50 games this year.
If that, yeah.
And he was injured. He was banged up during the playoffs. A lot of guys are.
Mm-hmm.
But he either sucks or his injury was really affecting him because he played awful.
I think that team's just a defensive monster.
That's fair, too. I want to go into something about Kevin Durant, and this I have a lot written here, so this might take me a second. I'm going to try and get through it quickly. He has one of the weirdest career arcs of any superstar that I've ever seen. So he's the best player on a finalist at 23 years old. Not easy to do. Usually NBA primes are 27-ish, where you start making two and winning titles. He gets to the finals at 23. He wins an MVP early on. He's consistently a contender with the Thunder, making the semifinals or the conference finals almost every year. There was a year he lost to injury. Can't really blame him on that. He goes to Golden State, wins back-to-back championships. As expected, that team was probably the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
And it would have been 3 in a row if it wasn't for him getting hurt.
Him and Clay.
Right. And then here's his last 5 years. 2019 to 20 misses the entire season. 20 to 21, heartbreaker against the Bucks. If his foot was slightly smaller, he hits a crazy walk-off game winner.
Injuries again, though, that season.
Yeah.
Kyrie and Harden.
Yep. 21 to 22, swept in first round. 22 to 23, he was traded to Phoenix, and he lost to Denver in round 2 in one of the worst blowout elimination games ever, which seems to be a trend with Devin Booker. 23 to 24, swept in the first round. So if you notice there, his last late run was in 2018 to 19. He hasn't played a game past the second round since before he was 30. He'll be 36 this next season.
Yeah.
What superstar, top 20 player of all time has that ever happened to? I'll give you a quick hint. The answer is nobody.
Yeah, I was going to say, nobody that I know.
And on the team he's on, I don't see him passing the second round again. And at this point, it's sad to say, but the whole Barkley, he wasn't the bus driver thing, I think it's very possible if he never goes to Golden State that he'd still have 0 rings. And he'd be the greatest player of all time with no rings.
Maybe if he stayed on the Thunder, he'd grab a ring.
I don't know, man. Especially with Russ, because he started getting all the triple-doubles and stuff, but that's because he was a one-man show.
Yeah.
And the NBA moved more and more towards shooting as Russ got worse and worse.
Yeah, we don't know how that roster would have constructed at all.
It's certainly possible, but it's either way is possible, and you shouldn't see an avenue where a player like Kevin Durant doesn't win a chip.
Yeah, it's even crazier than Melo not having a chip or T-Mac.
Oh, yeah. Durant was better than both of them.
Yeah.
And now with how the end of his career is panning out, I don't even know if he is a bona fide top 20 guy anymore.
That's a crazy one.
It's crazy to think about, but
he can give you 30 every night with ease.
He's a fantastic. I'm getting stared at by our camera guy. He's a top 20 talent.
20? I thought you were going to say 10. I was going to agree, but 20 is crazy. Top 20 players are like argument at the bottom half is like Jamal Murray, Bam.
No.
Sabonis.
Of all time, dude.
Oh,
not
okay.
current. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were saying current. I didn't
current.
Hear the
He's definitely
part.
top 15. Yeah, no, all time.
Because
it brings into account all accomplishments, and he's won MVP with 2 finals. Jokic is going to have 3 MVPs. Jokic has surpassed him. Giannis is right there with him.
Giannis is the same career arc, just without leaving the teams.
Right. But it also matters the fact that Giannis stayed with that team and won there. Yeah. So I think KD's range would mean more if it was with OKC versus Golden State.
Which he should go back to OKC, but
that would be pretty cool. But who knows if OKC even wants him? They're building such a young, dynamic roster over there.
But why not?
I mean, it depends on who they have to get rid of.
It'd be they wouldn't be willing to get rid of anybody other than Giddy and picks.
Yeah.
Which, as a Suns, just take it, dude.
Yeah.
Just take what you can get
Giddy
at this point.
and a bunch of
And probably make
picks.
three first-round
But you
picks.
have to make the
and
salary
then
work.
swaps.
You have to make the salary work, too. So it'll be
They have
Giddy
like Davis
and somebody.
Bertans to throw at them. They have salary.
All right. I wanted to get through all that because I just find that incredibly weird.
Yeah.
Now we're going to move on to the two teams that we quickly passed over, Nuggets versus Wolves. I'm so excited for this series. It starts on Saturday. I have Saturdays off. I'm going to watch every single dribble of it, and I'm so excited.
I can't wait for that. Dude, Anthony Edwards and the Wolves are so fun to watch.
They are.
I just hope Cat stays out of foul trouble in this series.
That's one of my points. We'll get there. So the question is, are you surprised Denver is a heavy favorite to win the series against the Wolves? I looked at the odds, and they're minus 210
Yeah,
to win the
heavy.
series.
I'm surprised they're heavy favorites. I'm not surprised they're favorites because they're the reigning champs. They have the best player in the world. But heavy, I'm very surprised. After watching that defensive masterclass, they have 8. They run a 8-man rotation. All 8 of them can defend 1 through 4, basically. It's insane.
The Wolves'
Other
defense
than
is
Mike
pretty
Conley,
crazy.
I guess, but he's not a bad defender.
Did you ever see their coach got ran into? Is he okay?
No, dude, he's
not
messed
okay?
up. He tore his patella or something.
But is he going to be coaching?
Yeah, it's iffy. I think he's getting I think he's got surgery today, and then he might not be cleared to go to the bench for his first game.
Wow,
That's
that
a
matters.
huge risk because
Well,
he's one of the better coaches in the league.
But you can look at that one of two ways. If they can get the X's and O's still from like if the
he'll be at practices.
if their assistant coach is good enough in game to give them the right plays and stuff, the motivation of like we're doing this for our coach actually could make them better.
Yeah.
So it just depends on how they take it.
They should let the assistant coach have like an earpiece in. Chris Finch just watch from the locker room or something.
I don't know if that's legal, but if it is, they should definitely do it. So I'm very surprised. I'm much more impressed coming out of Denver, or much more impressed with Minnesota coming out of the Sun series than I am Denver coming out of the Lakers.
Yeah, Denver was trailing like 70% of that series.
Yeah. Not to mention the fact that Jamal's banged up, KCP rolled his ankle. Like they're coming out with some battle wounds.
Mm-hmm. And you're playing a very physical team.
You're playing a very physical team. The Wolves have not one, not two, but 3 centers that they can throw at Jokic.
Yes.
Gobert, Cat, and Reed.
They're big body centers, yeah.
And then you have and you have McDaniels and Alexander Walker that you can just keep throwing at Jamal.
And Michael Porter Jr.
And Michael Porter Jr. He's more of like
I
think keep a hand in his face.
I think they throw Jaden McDaniels on him instantly.
Do you think so?
Dude, he averaged like 26 on like 60, 50, 90 splits.
I think
this last
the
series.
number one. Look, I'm not an NBA coach and I'm not an NBA player. I'm probably the furthest thing from it. I understand you don't want Jokic to eat you alive, but if you're going to send a double at him, you probably shouldn't send the guy guarding MPJ. Just an idea. I'm just throwing it out there.
I think Aaron Gordon's guy is who you should leave.
That might be an idea. I would leave, honestly, for a catch-and-shoot situation, I'd leave Jamal open before MPJ. MPJ is one of the best shooters in the league.
Yes.
I don't understand why we keep throwing a double from that matchup.
You know why? It's because Ham and Bologna Sandwich is the coach.
Oh, yeah. Ham is pretty bad. I also... That'll go in the next one. Yeah, I could definitely see that Denver. I could see Denver winning this series, but I don't understand. I think this should be a pick'em.
Mm-hmm. It should be like maybe -50.
Yeah, like they usually start at like 100 as far as gambling stuff goes. But
They're gonna lose money.
I don't see why they're so heavily favorited. I think it should be a pick'em or a slight favorite just because Denver does have home court. But the minus 210 thing is pretty crazy.
And last year without Cat, you could argue that Timberwolves in the first round played the Nuggets the hardest.
Yeah, and I think the Wolves have beaten them all. Like, no, they lost one this year because it was like the 1 seed game, and neither of them ended up being the 1 seed.
Yeah,
but the Wolves match up with them well. They just do.
They match up with everybody well.
And if anyone from the Wolves are watching this, don't throw the double from MPJ's matchup.
Yeah, we're the new coach, guys. Chris Finch is too hurt.
Yeah, maybe I can get an email or like hit up someone on Instagram.
I'll do it for free.
I would do it for free, absolutely. But if you just feel like listening to me, I'm giving you good advice. So, I don't know. That's pretty much it. Don't throw the double from MPJ. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Now, second question on this series is, with everything just being said, what's your pick?
I got Minnesota in 5.
Minnesota in 5.
I think all games are going to be close, but at the end of the day, I trust the team with the um, the better defensive team down the stretch. They're going to guard everybody but Jokic, but they have Rudy Gobert down there, and then they also have shooters all around the court.
I think the number one thing when you have multiple centers who can guard for the Nuggets, like against the Nuggets,
Mm-hmm.
is it's the same thing that is happening with Knicks Sixers. When you have 3 centers, you now instead of having 5 fouls, you have 15.
Yeah.
So you can play much more physical and wear Jokic down. And Jokic is insane because even when you say, yeah, he's not playing very good, you look up and he has 20, 20, and 10.
It's on 50% shooting.
Yeah, Jokic is crazy, but the best you can try and do is limit him. And if you tire him out, that could be your road to victory. I have the Wolves as well, but I have them in 6.
Yeah.
I think they'll steal one of the first 2 games, win both at home, and then they'll lose game 5 and then win game 6 at home.
I have them winning 1, losing 2, winning 3, 4, 5.
Dang, so you have them winning 2 games in Denver?
Yes.
All right, we're going to move on to Mavs Clippers, which as we're recording is going on. Currently the Mavs are up 16, so it looks like they're going to be taking a 3-2 lead, but crazier leads have been blown.
Last time they played, actually.
Yeah, by the Clippers. So, what would a first-round exit mean for the Clippers?
I think their organization is too stubborn to blow it up. So I think they'd honestly just run it back, maybe bring in a few more pieces. But they should blow it up if they lose in this first round. The West is too stacked for them to just keep running it back with these injury-prone players, but they're going to do it if they lose. It's what they do.
Honestly, I don't think it's a matter of being stubborn. I do think they're overall a stubborn franchise, which is why they have never really won anything. But I think it's a matter of their owners paying billions of dollars for this new stadium or arena, and when it opens, he needs star players to fill out the seats. So even if it means a first or second round exit, Paul George, Kawhi, Harden, etc., they sell tickets. I think that's more of what it is on that front. It's more of a financial thing for him.
By the time this thing is built, they're going to be done.
I think they move into it next year.
Oh, next
which is
year?
exciting because it's a freaking crazy
Dude,
arena.
their rebrand is horrible. I'm so sorry. I hate their new logo.
Not a fan?
No.
You want to go back to God, what was that guy's name? Who was their old owner, Alex?
No. I like them now.
Donald Sterling?
Are you talking about like the Chris Paul sleeve jerseys?
No, not the racist one. You want to go back to those ones?
No.
No, okay. I'm just checking.
I just don't like the logo. I haven't seen the jerseys or anything.
Wait, they're doing a complete rebrand for this?
Yeah. Their logo it's like a ship now.
A ship?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to do some mid-recording research here because what in the hell is that?
I don't like. You see why I don't like it?
That's such bad aim. Is this
I'm guessing.
That's crazy.
Those are about the same, but yeah, the logo is ugly.
And their new slogan is "Make Waves." What does that have to do with being a clip? Okay, back to our regularly scheduled programming. I think that a loss in this series would officially mark them down as the most overhyped team in NBA history. Between when they first got there, the billboards of Kawhi's the new king and just throwing direct shade at LeBron. Meanwhile, LeBron is won a finals in LA, and Kawhi has been hurt every single year. They've been together for what will be 6 years. I don't think that they're less overhyped than the Nets simply because the Nets, with Harden, KD, and everything, were only together for 2.5 seasons.
They were really good when they played together.
Right. And the Clippers have been together 6 years and have been to the Western Conference Finals one time where they lost in 6 games, and I don't think Kawhi or Paul George played.
Wait, what year was that?
Against the Suns in 21.
Oh, yeah.
They've struggled in making it out of the first round. They're just continuously hurt. As they age, and naturally, as they age and get older, there's young and upcoming teams like the Wolves and the Thunder who are ready to take their time in the sun. And in my opinion, Kawhi has the second worst contract in the league. I think that 3-year extension was crazy for a person who misses
For
most.
injuries, yeah. Injury reasons,
Right.
yes.
If we're here to win a championship, Kawhi's not a championship player because he doesn't play in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get him to play in the play at this point, you have to just say, I don't care about your 65 games. I don't care about this. You got your extension. Sit half the regular season.
They've tried. He's been the
No,
most
I
load
know
managed
that
player
they've
like
tried.
ever.
But
It's
they also, I don't know. They load managed him too much, and then this season they didn't do enough.
no. Which was impressive. He played a lot of games, but now here we are.
He was really good in those games. He's also been a really good playoff performer in the past.
Yeah.
Which is why they extended him. I get it. I get why. I just don't like it.
I don't get it. I'm in the be great business, and I can't be great with a player that doesn't play when the lights are brightest.
Yeah. Let us be a GM. We'll run it. We'll have like what a 4-peat.
Dude, my team will either be incredibly good or complete dog shit. Because I'll go the God. Who was the GM of the Sixers with the whole process thing? No, he's their current GM.
You're talking about the process.
The process guy that just traded, just bottomed out. Because I either want to be great or I want to be horrible. All right. Next question. Same question, different team. What would a first round exit mean for the Mavs?
They should get rid of Jason Kidd if they lose this round, but they won't. I think they just go into the offseason, keep about the same team, just sign more 3-and-D. And I forgot that Tim Hardaway's out for probably this series.
Yeah. I wonder when his contract expires because I think he is overstayed as well.
I want to say he's on his last year, maybe one more.
Oh, that would be good aim. I would love for him to
That's so
be
much
gone.
money freed up
He's
to get
$32 million.
Yeah, a 3-and-D player. That's all they just more. Just give Luke and Kyrie as many 3-and-D wings, big men as you can.
But I feel like Tim Hardaway is one of those like delusional 3-and-D guys who thinks he's more and like tries to like.
Yeah,
he's like
definitely.
He's like Ethan in 2K. It's like, dude, stand still, learn how to time your shot, and play defense.
There's games where he goes off.
And every so often you hear in the corner, hey, let me get this ISO king. And it's like, dude, no, you're not touching my ball. Like, that's kind of what Tim Hardaway Jr. is. And we'll know now if Ethan watches this.
No, this is true. I don't know who watches them through, like, fully through it.
Brandon, big guy and big legs, they both watch them.
Right.
Brandon and Chase both watch
I know
them.
Chase watches them.
Yeah.
I think Brandon skips football.
He might.
I'm pretty sure he does.
Yeah, he might. But this is a good time of year for him. There's not a lot of football in here. Anyway, my turn, I suppose. I think Jason Kidd has to go. On paper, the Clippers are the more talented team, so it's kind of difficult to be like, hey, we should have won this series, so you're fired. It's like, well, they had the more talent, so what'd you want from me? I think so. I mean, they have four. Their top four are better than Dallas's top four. Well, I guess Kawhi's not even playing, so really their top three.
Even with Kawhi, they have the best player in the series.
The Mavs do by far.
Yes.
I think they have the best two players, but they past the top two.
With Kawhi healthy, he's not. Kawhi's better than Kyrie.
That's fair.
With him healthy, but with him injured, yes.
Right. But past
they're top heavy.
Right.
But yeah.
I just think with what we saw the second half of the season after they made those trades that this team needs a deeper run than the first round, especially after last year when they missed the playoffs. And again, it's going to be a common theme that I keep saying this. I'm in the being great business, not being good enough. So if we have one of the best players in the league with a very solid Robin and Kyrie and a bunch of 3-and-D and good bigs there, what's our problem? The coach is the one I'm looking at, so I'm getting him out of there. And once they fire them, I'd try and get an extra 3-and-D guy here and there, but overall I'd be fine running it back. I think the roster has plenty of talent.
It's just hard to fire him because who's out there that's going to be better?
Well, Doc Rivers will be, and they better not freaking hire him because
I would love that. I love that so much.
I'll freak out. I'll actually freak out.
Like, Bud's out there, but Bud is not a good playoff coach because he doesn't make mid-game adjustments, or he just.
What you do is you offer the Miami Heat a first-round pick in perpetuity and get Eric Spoelstra.
You think Spo's worth a singular first-round pick from a playoff team?
I said in perpetuity. That means that every year that Spo is the coach, the Heat get the Mavs first-round pick.
I think they have to give us Luka.
That's bad aim. That's bad aim. All right, moving on after that outlandish statement. We're going 76ers versus Knicks. I thought this series was over.
Dude,
When
it
they
should
were
have been over. Tyrese
right.
Maxey is a insane human being.
Dude,
He's really good at basketball.
he's him for sure. Any chance the Sixers complete this 3-1 comeback?
Of course, there's a chance, but I don't see it happening. Especially with Jalen Brunson's gotten going the last 2 games.
I think that's part of the reason that they can do it because he hasn't just gotten going. He's been on a historic run that you've literally never seen before. He's bound to come back down to earth.
He's been doing this for the whole year.
I have it right here. Look
Are
at this.
you talking about the last month where he's between like 36?
No. For between games 3 and 4, Brunson scored 85 points and had 20 assists between those 2 games. That's never been done. Right. In NBA
and they
playoff
lost one
history.
Of those games.
No, they won 3 and 4. They just lost 5.
Oh, I thought you said 4 and 5.
1, 2. No, they lost 3. They lost 3, 1, 4.
Which games did they win? The ones that he did bad.
Yeah. No, he played really well the other game and they lost. He scored 40.
So did they win? They won the games he played bad in, is what I'm saying. So if he plays better, they're only going to be better.
Dude, that wrapped all the way around.
There's no reason Knicks lose this game. I think Embiid almost he might have even had a quadruple double with turnovers.
His turnovers were crazy. It was another game just like Jokic's where you look up in his stat lines like, but I thought he played bad because he had like 20, 15, and 10.
With 10 turnovers.
Right, and then Jokic had like 8.
Yeah, but no, Tyrese Maxey.
It's weird how centers can
Did you see the report, though? Tyrese Maxey. So you know how they had the 3-minute report at the end of games? Tyrese Maxey traveled on his 4-point play.
Did he?
Yep.
Whatever.
But it's basketball.
They owed them a game after game 2, so I'm good with it.
The refs didn't owe them anything.
The refs did owe them a game.
I guess, yeah.
So I think that not only do they have a chance, I think they're going to. I think Game 6 in Philly, even though it's really just New York sub at this point because it's going to be mostly Knicks fans, which is unfortunate just because of how expensive the games in New York are. The New York fans are like, well, it's cheaper to go to Philly, so we're just going to go there.
Yeah.
But I think the Sixers are the better team, like flatly. If Embiid was 100%, which to be fair, he never is in the playoffs, but if he was, I think this series would already be over.
That's why they were our final picks.
Right. I think this series would already be over. I already made the Brunson point that he's been on a historic run. I think he's going to come back down to earth. And I think that Maxey's not going to continue to drop 50 a game. But I think Embiid will slowly but surely get more and more into game shape and be better. And I think the Sixers are going to end up taking it. I think Game 6 will actually be the first blowout of the series. I think the Sixers are being in. And the Sixers will go into New York in Game 7 and pull one out. It'll be Embiid's greatest moment in his career so far.
Like getting carried by Tyrese Maxey?
Yes. It's about time someone helps the big man.
Yes.
All right.
Every player in the world needs that help.
Now that we got through that treacherous part of the show, does the winner of this series have any chance to take down Boston?
Uh-huh. Yes.
You really think so?
Watching Boston play, they're beatable.
They're beatable? How bad is Porzingis' injury?
He's probably missing the next round.
Well, that doesn't matter. Whoever they play versus, whether it's Cavs or Magic, they're going to beat him in 5, with or without Porzingis.
Oh, I forgot they're playing that team. I think the Cavs have a chance. Don't think without Porzingis, the Cavs have a chance, not the Magic. The only reason I say that is because the Cavs are a better defensive team than Miami, and the only bright spot of the Heat's 5 games was their defense. So, and they put good possessions on film for the Cavs to study, look at, say, hey, we can do this to slow them down, and hopefully they don't have a Michael Jordan performance from Derek White every game.
I think that the winner of Knicks Sixers have a date with the Celtics in the conference finals.
Probably.
I don't think the Pacers. Well, if the Bucks end up pulling off that comeback, which we'll talk about later, I think the Bucks can beat the Sixers or the Knicks healthy. Which, according to Doc, who gives a literal shit about his opinion, but according to him, they're close to coming back. So we'll see how that turns out. But assuming the Pacers hold off, the Pacers are going to lose to Knicks or Sixers, and then the Celtics at this point are just playing scrimmage games against the people they're playing.
Scrimmage games is crazy.
It's not. It's valid. It's accurate. I think that the Knicks actually would have a better chance of beating Boston than the Sixers would.
Yeah, because the Knicks or the Boston Celtics daddy is on the Knicks.
The thing for me is that the Knicks just muddy games up. They make it nasty.
Well, that's what the Heat did.
Exactly. It's exactly my point. And then, especially if Porzingis isn't right, Brunson and everything else, they can keep up on offense. I don't think the Sixers have any chance of beating the Celtics just because Embiid's not 100%. The offense that the Celtics provide, and the Celtics historically have guarded Embiid, a healthy Embiid, better than anyone, let alone an Embiid on one leg with a frozen
can
face.
They guard Maxey?
They have Derek White and Drew Holiday. I think they might have a shot.
But Maxey runs really fast at the
rim.
rim.
He does run really fast.
Really fast.
What are you doing if you're on a fast break and Tyrese Maxey's running at you?
I'm running down to play offense.
I mean, fair enough.
What do you want me to do? Run at him? I'm not catching him.
At least try to jump.
Okay.
So we're going to move on to Heat Celtics. I'm essentially going to...
I don't want to talk about this.
I'm essentially going to say nothing. I'm just going to... See, here's the thing about doing a podcast. It's no longer an Etch Watch Live party where you say stuff and you get made fun of for a day and then everybody forgets. That's on the internet forever, that you said the Heat were going to come back.
You know what else is on the internet forever? Let's pull up the Miami Heat's injury list. How about that? Middle of the game, DeLon Wright checks out of the game. They were within 10 points, gets 7 stitches inside his mouth, comes back down 30.
All right, PG1, I see you. Yeah, that's albeit a short history, but it's the worst take in the history of the pod.
Yeah. Did you watch Game 4 at all, though?
I didn't watch
Game
any
4,
of that
the refs
series.
might have ruined a comeback. So,
is that the game that you lost by 30, or was that the next one?
It was he were on, I think, a 12-4 run or something. Fourth quarter, 5 minutes left. They were only down 13.
After this 12-4 run?
Yes. And then, so somebody comes up to screen for Tatum, and Patty Mills kind of pushes him, gets a foul call, right? Tatum, mind you, being guarded by Bam. Bam's standing there. Tatum tries to just shoot a shot after the whistle blows, like a warm-up. Bam contests him, gets called for a goddamn tech. Because Tatum lands on Bam's ankle because Bam does this and swipes at the ball because Tatum's jumping into him. So he gets called for a tech.
This is after the whistle?
Yes.
Wow.
Players
do that all the time.
That's the thing, but it's because he landed on him in his shooting space. But it's like, what do you want Bam to do? Let him take a warm-up shot while they're on a run? It was.
She does not like your take.
I don't care. I don't. Ooh.
She's the take judger, and she's not happy with you.
That was so. I'm not saying they would have came back, but they were on a run. Their players were getting going. It was bad.
It might have happened.
There was 5 minutes left. They were on a run already.
The two series I've paid the least amount of attention to is Cavs Magic because I have no interest in it, and Heat Celtics because I knew the conclusion.
Yeah, this game could be going to 6 right now had that not happened. I don't think it would have, but we don't know.
I kind of thought that there was a chance that Miami won tonight just because that's a classic Boston loss.
Well, it's also the road team has been the better team in the playoffs in that matchup,
right.
Which is crazy.
But the thing that is crazy to me is that the Celtics, this is, for whether it's the Sixers or the Knicks, one of those two teams and the Celtics, their season essentially starts in the conference finals. The East is just, with Giannis going down, there's just no other team. Like, are we really afraid of the Pacers?
I agree with the Sixers
the Mavs
part.
Or the Cavs?
I think
the Cavs or the Magic. It's unfortunate how the East is playing out, but it's incredibly important for the Celtics to take advantage of this opportunity. Because they don't make it to the finals this year, then when will they?
It's not make it. If they don't win, this is the only thing. Because the East is the easiest road. There's no Boston Daddy. There's no Giannis. There's no Dame possibly. There's half of Embiid. Like
right.
These are insane injuries. If they don't make the finals, they got it. Ooh.
Time to blow it up.
I can't wait for Twitter if they don't make sense.
All right, we're going to move on to Pacers-Bucks. Another one that I'll be pretty quick about. I want them to lose so that Doc gets fired. I've never preyed on a man's downfall more than I've preyed on his. But, like, when I first started at my job, if I sold 30 cars the first month, and it's like, wow, this is the greatest salesman in the history of salesmen. He's had no training and he just sold 30 cars. No way. And then I went the next 3 years without selling a single car. Do you think I'd still have my job?
Yeah, obviously.
Dude, it's actually ridiculous how much rope he's gotten off of one championship. And not a championship on a team like the Pistons or the Mavs, the 04 Pistons, the 2011 Mavs, where like they probably shouldn't have won it. He won it with the Big Three in Boston. And this was before LeBron went to Miami.
Yeah,
like,
he was supposed to.
What are we talking about? And he's still somehow employed. It actually blows my mind. Every team that he coaches underachieves. He never made a conference championship with the Lob City Clippers or Kawhi and Paul George. He lost a 3-1 lead to the Nuggets in the bubble. The year after Doc finally got fired, the Clippers instantly made a conference finals with Ty Lue. He never made a conference championship game with the Sixers, and he's on the verge of getting bounced in round 1 to the Pacers. Please, 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 please lose, and please fire him, please. Your turn.
I think when it comes to the Doc Rivers firing, only way he does not get fired is if they make a finals run. That's the only excuse. It's
the only way he shouldn't get fired.
Yeah,
but I could see a world, just because it's Doc Rivers, where it's like, you know what? He started halfway through. We'll give him one more year. It's like, okay, buddy.
I guess the only other argument is what other coach is there, but like
me. I hear Peyton is looking for a head coaching job.
She should probably do better.
She 1,000,000% would.
Yeah, Doc Rivers is pretty mid.
He's not mid. He's awful.
He's awful. My fault.
See, she thinks it's good, Aim. All right, I'm gonna go give her to her mom. All right, now moving on to Magic versus Cavs. Again, I haven't paid much attention to this because Right. I just think that the result doesn't matter. Either one of them just going to get killed by Boston, so I really just don't care. I think the Cavs are going to take it in 7 at this point, but I really just honestly don't care.
Yeah, this series is a snooze fest. I feel like every time I look, they can barely get to 200 combined points.
Right. The end of the last game was really good. I did watch that. That Mobley block was
I did see that. That was he got beat too.
Wagner should have passed that out though. That should have ended with a Paolo 3 but irregardless, don't care about it.
I mean, I guess the silver lining for the Magic is their star and Paolo has performed in these big moments.
Yeah.
So that's good.
And I think that they could be a popular free agency destination because they have a lot of cap space.
LeBron. No, please no.
Which I wanted to throw this back to the Sixers really quick. If they do lose, they need to go out and sign Paul George and Klay Thompson, in my opinion. They can keep Maxey and Embiid. Paul George and Klay are both 2 players who can play without the ball. Then they provide, in George's case, good defense. Klay's case,
sometimes
decent defense, elite shooting at times. Paul George can create his own shot. I think they go and sign both of those players, and then I think next year
they bring back Oubre.
Right, that'd be that. I think that's what they do.
They probably will bring back Lowry too.
I love that we turned the Magic Cavs conversation into a Sixers conversation. I love that. Well, I mean, pretty much what the series is, hey, when's the Sixers game on?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'll watch the rest of this one. That's pretty much what that series became. Now we're going to move on to the NFL. So, Brandon, if you'd like, you can turn the TV off now, or you can stay. I'd appreciate it if you stayed, though. First question, Devin, biggest winner of the NFL draft?
All right, so the obvious pick is the Bears, but
I got to it first.
Yeah, you got to it first, so I'm going to go with a very close second. The Steelers killed the draft. They started the draft with, Troy F., Washington tackle. They addressed the need. They got offensive linemen. Protect. And then second pick, they got center from West Virginia. Another protector. You good? Mm-hmm. Another guy protect one of the 2 QBs. I don't know who's going to start. I'm guessing Russ.
It should be Justin Fields. Russ is awful.
They'll probably start Russ and then bring in Fields. And then they got a receiver. Since they traded Deontay, they got Roman Wilson. I honestly don't know who he is. I don't know what he's good at. But he got drafted third pick. But this is the pick that I really liked. Peyton Wilson. So he would have probably been the first linebacker off the board, probably a day 2 pick, maybe late first round pick if it hadn't been for his injuries in college. I think his first 2, maybe 3 years of college were injuries. Like I don't even know if he has an ACL. I don't think he has an ACL anymore.
Well, that's not great.
But upside, he runs like a 4.4
without an ACL.
Yes, sideline to sideline.
I wonder how fast he'd be with an ACL.
He's huge, can play run, pass, everything. He's the best linebacker of the draft. He stays healthy. He's an all-pro in the future. Stays healthy.
And they got him, it looks like the 4th round?
End of 3rd.
Wow.
Pick 98.
That's pretty crazy.
And then they got more offensive linemen, a corner at the end, and then a D tackle. But those first 4 picks, really Peyton Wilson, yeah. Mark my words, Peyton Wilson stays healthy, all-pro.
It'll be a guy to keep an eye on. As you mentioned previously, I got the Bears, and I only focused on their first 2 picks. That's really all I needed to know. You get Caleb Williams, and you get a Dunze out of Washington.
Yes.
Boom. These first-round receivers nowadays, like, almost never miss. All of them are really good.
I think Jalen Reagor was the last one.
Yeah, but even then, that was
4 or 5 years ago.
4 or 5 years ago. All of them are just so good. And honestly, they won this draft last year when they made that trade with Carolina.
Yeah, that was...
Because this isn't your standard number 1 overall pick team. This team won 7 games.
They're a Super Bowl team now.
Absolutely. And most rookie quarterbacks are worth 4 to 5 wins. Like when the number 1 pick comes in, if he's decent,
like your team goes over.
Right, they go from 4 wins to 8 or 9, just because they have that guy at quarterback. Well, now this team goes from 7 wins to 10, 11, 12. Yeah. So I think they're the clear winners, not only of the draft, and we started doing the show mostly after free agency had already settled and everything else, but they won the offseason. It's one of the best offseasons I've seen a team have in my time enjoying the NFL.
Yeah. They brought back Jalen Johnson.
Bringing in Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift. Their O-line is solid now. Their defense came on at the end of last year. I honestly think the Bears are a dark horse Super Bowl team.
I completely
Although,
agree.
can they really be dark horse when a lot of people are saying that?
I don't think they're a dark horse at this point. I think the only reason they're a dark horse is the question of Caleb Williams.
Right.
I think you insert a veteran type of guy in there, they're
if Caleb comes in and is as good as Stroud was instantly.
Dude, he doesn't even need to be Stroud. If he's as good as Stroud, they might be the favorites if he's Stroud.
Stroud is really good. All right, we're going to move on to the biggest loser of the draft, and I'm going to lead this off because what the Atlanta Falcons did.
Dude, I laughed when it happened.
I was genuinely, when they started saying, oh, I'm hearing that the Falcons might take Penix, I'm like, okay, so that's like smoke, right? Like they're going to trade out of this, and they're just trying to talk up the price because they might take a quarterback, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then when the pick comes in, I'm sitting at the screen like, there's no way. You're lying. They're not doing it. And they selected Michael Penix, quarterback out of Washington. What are we doing? Because it's not like they front-loaded Kirk's contract or they made it to where they can trade Kirk. He has a no-trade clause, so he can't be traded. And even if they did find a team to trade for him, his contract is structured in the way that there's no cap relief in trading him. So one of the biggest benefits of having a rookie quarterback is how little money they make as far as quarterback goes, which allows the rest of the team to be so stacked like the 49ers.
Yes.
So they won't have that benefit. Not only because of the way that contract was structured, it is apparent that 6 weeks ago when they gave this contract to Kirk, they didn't plan on doing this. So they're just out here playing Madden, just doing whatever they feel like doing in the moment. And theme of the show, I want to be great. I don't want to be good and avoid being bad. I want to be great. And this is the move of a team that doesn't care about being great, just doesn't want to be awful. They're cool with being somewhere in the middle.
They just want a quarterback.
They're cool with having 10 wins, winning a bad division, losing in the first round, and that just being what they do. And it's really unfortunate for the thousands and thousands of Falcons fans who pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars on tickets and merchandise to root for a team that doesn't care about winning as much as they do. It's awful, and the fact that the owner was mad about it shows that the GM just went rogue, and the whole thing is just outlandish. And I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I can't believe it now. I feel bad for Penix. By the time he has any chance of playing, he's going to be 26, and he's just going to rot there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's already an older rookie to begin with. I feel awful for Penix, and the Falcons should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking when they, like, you said it last time. The most staple picks in the draft are Titans O-line and the best defender.
Going to Atlanta.
It should have been Laiatu Latu. Or if you don't like the injuries, take Jared Verse. What are you doing taking I don't care. They could have had an A+ the rest of the draft.
Yeah.
What is
as soon as you take Penix, the rest of your picks don't matter.
Like your first, the 8th pick. It's not even the 15th, end of the first. It is the 8th.
So the two most valuable things Atlanta had this offseason was cap space. They used it on a quarterback, Cousins, and their 8th overall pick. They used it on a quarterback again. Yeah. So when you get Cousins, it's like, cool. This team was already solid. We had, what was their quarterback? Desmond Ritter was their quarterback, and they won 7 games. Kirk can be worth 3 or 4 wins. He was playing elite for Minnesota, assuming that when he comes back, his Achilles doesn't hamper him.
Which maybe that's why they took Penix, but there's no
Penix
excuse.
is incredibly injury prone.
I think if they were going to take a quarterback right there, it had to be J.J. McCarthy.
I don't know. Don't take a quarterback.
Don't. But if they're going to, you take the younger quarterback that isn't injury prone.
Right. The Falcons do one of two things there. Because McCarthy had been slipping, you trade with Minnesota.
Maybe you get both their first.
You get 11 and 23, and you load up this roster that was already good enough to get 7 wins with a quarterback who belongs on a school bus being the driver because he's awful, right? You now get 2 blue-chip players to add to this roster, and you just added who you deem to be an elite quarterback because you're paying him $100 million guaranteed, more than that. It's the worst move I've ever seen a team make. I have a cousin that's a Falcons fan, and I said this to her, and now I'll say it to any Falcons fans listening to this. This is the perfect opportunity to switch teams because nobody would blame you. It's the worst move I've seen in all of sports. And I saw Timothy Mozgov and Luol Deng get 4 years, $64 million. Yeah. It's embarrassing, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
Well, also the thing about that, say they do get those 2 Vikings first, they probably give up a third. And with those 2 picks, they still get Laiatu Latu or Jared Verse because they didn't go till late. And then with the other one, they either get another receiver.
Especially with how much defense fell this draft. What was the top 15 picks for 15, offense?
And then they can get Laiatu Latu or Jared Verse with that 11. And then with, 23, you said? Mm-hmm. They get one of the top corners, or they can go get a receiver.
Right.
It's messed up so bad. They were in prime position to win the draft, and they lost it.
Yeah, it's I can't keep going, otherwise I'll just keep repeating myself. So we're going to move on next. Falcons, be ashamed of yourselves. Next question, biggest round 1 steal. Who do you got?
I hate this team with a burning passion.
I hate the fact that you're putting them on our show.
I'm so sorry, but they got the number 1 corner in the draft at the end of the first round, Quinnion Mitchell with the Eagles. He's a prototypical 6 foot, 195. He ran a
Slay.
Yeah, he ran a 4.33 40, second only behind Nate Wiggins. He's strong. He had the most bench press reps out of all the corners. He went to a small school, so he didn't play competition. You could say he was He was one of the best defenders on the field in the Senior Bowl. That's a real competition. He led the country.
They actually try at the Senior Bowl. It's not like the Pro Bowl or All-Star game.
Those are the seniors that stayed an extra year for a reason, and then led the country in pass breakups in the last 2 seasons with 32. And he's not afraid to get into the run game. He'll go up and tackle. I hate that they got him so much.
I hate how much you're talking him up. I don't want the Eagles.
I'm sorry, dude.
Honestly,
but I think he's going to be a monster.
I actually don't care how good the Eagles are because I've given up. I've given up on the Cowboys, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Right. I have the Lions, who I think got the best corner in the draft, in Terry and Arnold. I like his vibe, that it just fits the Lions. I'm not a huge draft. Like, I don't study the draft.
I don't
but
study a whole lot.
I like that he's coming out of Alabama, so he's going to be ready to play game one. One of their biggest needs this offseason was corner, and they got Carlton Davis and him. I think the Lions are primed to be very, very good next
Which
year.
we will get into also.
And we will get into that a little bit. Moving on, we're going to talk a little bit about our team's drafts.
You want to lead?
Of course I do.
Okay.
I get to talk about Dallas.
Sorry.
I am too. Let's see. For a team,
we were texting during what, the first 2-3 rounds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how quickly I could find those because I was not
I could
happy.
find them very quick.
Well,
Here,
while
you
I
can go ahead
try
and
to
talk,
find
I'll
it.
find them.
So, let's see. Jerry Jones says we're all in, and then he walks it back and says we're all in on this draft. He, for a team that's all in, trades back. Not a very all-in move. I think it was a good move, just not a very all-in move. They then draft a developmental player with their first-round pick, Guyton out of Oklahoma. Will he be good? Maybe, maybe not. But for an all-in team, drafting a guy that's going to take time to develop is interesting, right? They didn't take a running back. And I think Jerry Jones at this point is actually like losing his mind a little bit because he just outright told the league that he was going to draft someone in the second round. He just said, "Hey, I'm drafting the running back out of Texas."
Mm-hmm.
And the league was like, "Oh, interesting, because no, you're not."
Who are you talking about?
The running back out of Texas. I don't remember his name. But Jerry Jones said this.
Oh, you're talking about the guy that the
He
Panthers got?
He went 10 picks before
Panthers?
Dallas got.
Yeah, Panthers, because he was the first off the board. Okay.
Which is, why are we telling people our draft strategy? Everything they've done between the re-signing or non-re-signing of players and the draft, everything they're doing is a team that doesn't want to win this year. And at this point, I'm getting to where I'm throwing them in the same bucket of Atlanta as a team that just doesn't want to be awful, doesn't care if they're great. They're cool with just being okay. They're cool with a 12-win season that ends in embarrassing fashion to Green Bay, and they're just setting themselves up for, at this point, I don't even know if they'll get to that. I mean, they signed Zeke today. He's obviously not what he was. They're going to have a running back room consisting of a 30-year-old Ezekiel Elliott, Rico Dowdle, Deuce Vaughn, and Royce Freeman. Like, I don't think running back's an extremely important position anymore, but you got to be better than that. And when you put your first-round pick as a developmental guy who may or may not be, he could be good this year, he could be awful. You have no idea. It's just, I'm slowly but surely giving up hope.
I found them.
Let's see. What did I say?
So right when it happened, said I'm on record. So if I'm wrong, you can give me shit. But I hate it.
Yeah.
I said very interesting. He said I hated the Micah pick. So I guess we'll see.
That's fair.
And then I said I busted out laughing. He said this means Tyler Smith is that's fine. And then, dude, did you see the guy's reaction? He would look like he was surprised.
Yeah.
You didn't really go off. You just kind of said you hated it.
Man, I completely forgot to tell you this. I can say it on the pod now. You know the tackle that went to Green Bay out of U of A? I met him the other day.
What?
He was at my work.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that was really cool.
It
was so cool. He was interested in looking at a car, and I go up to him and I'm talking to him, and he says, "Yeah, man, I'm looking at buying a car like right now because I got drafted and I leave tomorrow." I'm like, "You got drafted?" And my initial thought is like, okay, the military doesn't do drafts anymore, so what are you talking about? And I said, drafted
he's huge. What?
Yeah, I drafted like, what do you mean drafted? He's like, to the NFL, and I was like, you're the tackle out of U of A, and he's like, yeah, and I said, man, I wanted Dallas to draft you, and he said, yeah, me too. I was like, yeah, dude, well, a couple picks too early. The computer just died.
Rip. Well, looks like you're going to have to big brain the rest of the
I would like to take a quick pause. I'm so sorry for all the technical difficulties today. We'll tighten things up. Today's been a day from hell. I met the U of A tackle. That was really cool. He said he wanted to come to Dallas, and I said, yeah, I wanted you to. But obviously that didn't happen, and now he has to go play in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Good luck to him. But that was a pretty cool
where he got
experience.
booed for being picked.
What?
The Green Bay Packers fans booed him.
Dude.
Not him, but like the pick. But going through the text, the thing you got pissed about the most was the Bills trading to their rivals.
Oh, that was ridiculous.
I was insane, but
yeah, that's an. I mean, to be fair, they're kind of in one of those retooling modes, so they're not trying to be great.
Hey, but I like Keon Coleman. Have you seen him? He reminds me of Anthony Edwards. Like his off the field, he just like the way he acts and stuff. He's very funny and out there.
That's risky because that either ends up in someone like Ant or you get someone like George Pickens.
Yeah.
George Pickens is bad aim. There you go.
You don't like
I talked
Pickens?
about the Steelers. You're welcome.
I like Pickens though. We can agree to disagree with Pickens.
I think players like that will have a game where they have 200 yards and have a game where they have 20 yards, and I don't like that kind of player.
Maybe,
I like more
yeah.
consistency.
Okay. Well,
So what are we talking about next?
This is my turn to talk about the Cardinals.
Okay. My computer's dead.
I got you. I'll leave the last few little parts. Okay. I have a lot more to talk about because we had 12 picks. We had 11 traded back in the second round with the Falcons and got an extra third. I don't know why. They moved up 8 spots in the second and gave us a third.
Wow.
I think it was crazy.
Your GM loves moving like everywhere.
Dude, our GM cooked. Our GM has been really good.
Real quick side note, the whole notion that the Eagles win every single draft is so ridiculous.
It's because they just get the big name, those players that everybody knows.
I swear Howie Roseman just looks at like Mel Kiper's big board and is like, oh, that's the one for this one? Put her in.
I feel like it's like, oh, this guy's falling on that big board.
Right.
Trade up, put it in.
Right, and that's why every analyst always sucks them
Yeah.
off because they're like, hey, that's what I would have done. It's like, yeah, because you just look anyway.
To be fair, though, I like their first 2 picks. Cooper
Yeah.
DeJean and him, which sucks. But
Dude, the first white corner in like 20 years, that's crazy.
yeah. All right, we'll get in this. This might take me a little bit.
All right.
First pick, Marvin Harrison. Don't need to talk. Come in alpha, easy.
Could be a top 5 receiver
Could be
day
right
one.
away. Yes. Second pick. I was very confused with this. I didn't know who this guy was, but he's a ginormous human. He is a D tackle, moved to edge.
Oh, yeah.
So
okay.
he's.
During the you texted me like, what the heck was that when it
Yes.
happened? Yeah.
But I looked into it. Gannon likes the 4-3, and this guy can play inside, outside. If he plays inside, he has to probably put on more weight, but he can get to the quarterback. He's going to be a day 1 starter. I don't see much upside, but he's going to be good throughout his career. And his pressure rate when he went from inside to outside went up to like 20%. So he's going to be a handful for guard or for tackles because he's big. He's not super fast, but he's big, long arms. Inside, he can be faster than the center and stuff. That one's okay. That pick was in.
Yeah.
But
I like center and stuff.
and like the guards.
Yeah.
This pick is my second favorite pick. Max Melton out of Rutgers. He ran a 4.4. No, he did not run a 4.3. He ran a 4.4. That's a miss. But 4.4. He's a little smaller, 5'11".
What position is this?
Corner.
Oh, corner.
So, but he makes plays. He gets the ball. He plays in the run game. Gannon is a theme with all these people. They like violent players. He's gonna play in the run game. 5'11", makes plays.
I trust your coach a lot.
Yes.
I think that part of the reason the Eagles were so bad last year is they lost him and
It shows their
Steichen.
defense might not have been that great. Just
Right.
Gannon was a great schemer. This is my favorite pick. Trey Benson out of Florida State.
The running back. Yes.
So,
God, I wonder what other team could have used a player like that.
in round 3, by the way, we got him. So, he's 6 foot 215. If you don't know, that's Adrian Peterson. That's what he's built like.
Yeah.
He's getting a lot of comps to Breece Hall. Like everybody's comparing to Breece Hall. He ran a 4.440. He likes to run more outside than inside, but when you're that big, that's our future running back right there.
Yeah.
And then we got a tackle. I saw a lot of people not like this pick. I think they reached, but it's whatever. They got a tight end from Illinois. These guys are both from Illinois, so maybe there's a reason. But this is more of a. This guy might be able to he could play tackle if we lose all of our tackles. He's a blocky tight end.
Oh,
but
wow.
he's still really athletic.
You might want to knock on wood on that one. Your tight end ends up playing tackle for you.
Oh,
That
yeah,
would
true.
be
Because
so
our 2 tackles
tough.
are like there, but It's probably going to be in a lot of 12 personnel, 2 tight ends with Murray.
And apparently, this Benson guy's that good. You start getting a running game finally. I don't think Kyler's ever really had a great running game.
We are been the top running team every year he plays.
Fair. Then why are you guys so bad?
His name is Cliff Kingsbury.
That's why. That's bad.
And then we got another corner, but this is a bigger one. He's 6'2".
Holy smokes.
He's out of what is it, Boston College, I want to say.
BCU.
But he gave up a 29% completion rate thrown his way and a 3 QBR.
Wow.
So
how does someone like that fall so deep? Is he
because of the people he plays, competition, I'm guessing. Yeah. But he was great.
Is he unathletic? That's tough for corners sometimes.
He's not super unathletic. It was really just looking at it. Honestly, no, I don't know. He's the perfect guy. I don't know. Looking at it,
he's Richard Sherman. That's who he's gonna be.
It's probably a speed. I think he ran mid sub 4.4, which is still really good, or like middle 4.4.
Yeah.
And then a safety, which I've seen a lot of people love this pick. He's like 5'10", 5'11", but small safeties on the Cardinals are welcome. Buda Baker, but he's fast, I guess, makes plays. He's a good tackler. It's normal safety stuff. But in the 4th round, that's a good pick. And then this guy, everybody said was a great step as well. He's a former 5-star, Xavier Thomas out of Clemson. He's 5-star. He's a rusher. I think he's labeled edge linebacker, but he's just going to rush the quarterback. And then just a few wide receiver and corner late in the draft. That's about it.
So you're happy with your draft?
Yes. If I graded it, probably an A.
How does it feel to feel as if your team has some sort of future and that you still
amazing.
Actually care and are invested?
Amazing. Feels great.
I wouldn't know.
We went from everybody thought we were the worst team in the league to now people saying we're like a dark horse wild card team in 1 year.
What was last year? You didn't have. Everyone knew you wouldn't have Kyler a lot of the year.
Yeah. Well, with Kyler, with that horrible team, we were in every game.
Yeah. You beat the Eagles. Not saying a lot at that point of the year, but
beat the Eagles. We were competing with the Texans. We competed with the Ravens with Josh Dobbs. So I liked our draft. Very excited to see these guys play.
Now we beat Dallas with Josh Dobbs.
Now our corner room went from the worst in the league to very promising. Because we got Sean Murphy-Bunting.
Is that number 13 any good? I remember seeing him when I went.
Keitrell Clark, he's going to definitely be. The reason he fell in the draft, he's not an athlete. I don't know how to say it. He's not super fast. He's not super physical. He's not super athletic. He's just okay at everything. And he plays hard, that's why he played. But our corner, like I said, probably the worst cornerback room in the league. Now we have 4, maybe 5 good players.
Seems like they have a lot of potential too.
Yeah, 2 from this draft. Garrett Williams, who I loved from last year, and then Sean Murphy-Bunting. So that's our team recaps. Now we can get into our way too early Super Bowl predictions.
I love those.
You want to go or you want me to go?
Yeah, I'll go because I'm not going to have very much to say because
you don't have all your notes.
Yeah. I said earlier I'm really high on the Lions. I think the Lions probably should have been in it last year. Were they up 31-3 or some crazy crap against the Niners? They were up a block.
I think going in half it was 31-10.
Okay, there you go. And then they ended up losing the game.
I think they had 2 turnovers in the second half.
And then 4th down stuff. I think I think that
yes.
Yeah, Dan Campbell. I almost said Dan Quinn.
I know you were going to say
Dan Campbell needs to chill out on the fourth down stuff just a little bit. But they have, if we just run through it, they have a solid quarterback in Goff. Mm-hmm. They have an elite receiver in Amon-Ra. They have an elite running back. They have a very good running back.
They have 2 really good running backs.
In Montgomery. Now they have solid corners. They have one of the best O-lines in the league. They have an elite tight end in Laporta. They have an elite pass rusher in Hutchinson. Their linebackers are okay and their safeties are okay, especially after they lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Were they the team that signed Eric Reed? Or is he still on the team? I saw they signed a safety. I just don't remember who.
Honestly, even if I did know, I don't know.
Losing Chauncey Gardner, whatever.
Yeah, of course.
C.J. Gardner. Yeah.
The cap doesn't exist for them.
I don't understand some of these teams. They're just throwing money left and right. It doesn't make sense. They just extended A.J. Brown, extended Jalen Hurts. They signed DeAndre Swift.
No, they signed Saquon.
Or not DeAndre Swift, Saquon.
They extended Devontae Smith.
Yeah, extended Devontae Smith. They just signed C.J. Gardner. Like
Yeah.
this, and they have Darius Slay and
Right.
Bradbury on the roster. This
Right.
doesn't make sense. Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox.
Fletcher Cox is gone. But
He retired, right?
Yeah, they just
Yes.
Lane Johnson has a huge contract.
Oh, yeah.
They just extended Mayada. Their
I
left
guess
tackle.
Jason Kelsey was taking up $100 million.
Yeah, dude, it's some teams. Howie Roseman's a great GM, and
Yeah.
he manipulates the cap better than just about anyone. So more power to him. I think the Eagles are winning the division. I have no hope in Dallas whatsoever. Which is complete opposite of last offseason. Last offseason, I was very high on Dallas. I picked them to win the Super Bowl, which obviously I don't do every year if I'm saying the Lions are going this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the AFC, I have the Texans. Mostly, I think they have the second best chance behind the Chiefs, but picking the Chiefs just feels boring. If I was okay with being boring, it would be the Chiefs. There's no reason not to say the Chiefs.
Are you throwing shots at me?
No?
I picked the Chiefs.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's boring.
Sorry, you took my other pick. You took the freaking Bears and were boring, so I'm gonna take them.
The AFC really to me boils down to the Bengals have two of their star players asking for trades, so I don't love that. Burrow's injury prone.
T. Higgins said he's staying for the year.
Will he be happy though? Like you might stay, but you might stay for a year. Your job doesn't.
Yeah,
you're
you
gonna perform the best.
You might not be happy for a few weeks, but once you start winning and are putting up numbers,
But again, Burrow's injury prone. Their O line, I still don't trust it. No
and
matter
they lost Jonah Williams.
Yeah, no matter how many times they give a tackle $100 million, until they show it to me, I'm not going to trust them.
Yeah.
They lost Mixon. Their team just doesn't. I don't trust them, more or less. The Ravens, we went about that last episode. I don't think they are going to have similar success. I think the Ravens are actually going to miss the playoffs. So you start running out of teams, and the Texans added Diggs, not Everson Griffin. Geez, I'm in 10 years ago. DeAndre Hunter?
Daniil Hunter.
Daniil, dude.
DeAndre Hunter's on the Hawks.
I need my laptop back, dude.
Daniil Hunter. They added Joe Mixon.
There you go. Keep it
I'm
going.
trying to help you.
So they just added all these pieces, so I think that the Texans are. Do they have a chance of beating Kansas City in Kansas City? They have the best chance.
You think it's going to be in KC?
I think Kansas City's going to walk through the season.
Even without Snead?
Yeah.
You think it's just going to. Offense is just getting better, defense is going to stay?
The defense will be maybe slightly worse, but the offense will be a lot better.
Dude, they have freaking the fastest. They're back to Legion of Zoom.
Right.
Worthy and Marquise Brown.
And their division, all three of the teams in their division, not only do they own them, but all three of them are going to be, at best, decent. And then the other two will probably be awful. I think they're going to walk to a 14-3, 15-2 record and have the 1 seed.
I would disagree with that if the Raiders got a QB in this draft. Like if they got Penix.
Don't say Penix to me.
If they got Penix, then I would say maybe they not do something to the Chiefs, but they can just be around them.
Well, they did beat them last year, so.
Yeah, true.
And they keep loading up on defense for the Mahomes rules.
And then they got what's his name, Brock Bowers.
Yeah, Brock is good.
Even though they drafted Michael Mayer in the second round last year.
Yeah, they're a weird team too. But what was your pick?
Chiefs Lions, same pick as last year.
You said that last year too.
Well, I said that last year when the playoffs started.
It's weird how similar our sports takes end up being. As far as we both picked the Sixers, and now we both picked the Lions, which means we'll probably both be wrong again.
No. The Lions should, like you said, should have been in the Super Bowl last year, and I don't. C.J. Stroud's great. Texans are great. Mahomes is really hard to beat.
I know, dude.
Like
it feels.
Who is it? He's only lost to Burrow and Brady in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
That's an elite company. I'm sorry, C.J. Stroud's not there yet with those two people.
Yeah, I don't believe the Texans are the best team. I just don't want to be boring.
Well, the thing though, on paper, this last year, Mahomes probably had the worst team, like the lesser team in his matchups every game. You look Niners, of course, that's the Avengers.
That is the Avengers.
Ravens, yes, they had the worst team.
I think the Chiefs and Bills teams were pretty.
They're about even,
especially with all the injuries the Bills had. But it's close enough to where I'll just give you.
And the Dolphins, that's one up in the air.
Yeah.
It's offense, defense. Which one do you prefer?
And luckily for Kansas City, it was in one of the coldest games ever. So defense typically wins that.
Best quarterback.
Yeah, no, you make a good point.
He's the only one really that can win multiple Super Bowls, keep you in contention with the huge quarterback contract.
Yeah. Well, it's because he's Superman. He's the best ever.
Yeah.
It's kind of where I was saying, like, the LeBron Jordan at the time. I'm not saying it anymore.
Yeah.
There's a difference between best ever and the GOAT. Brady's still the GOAT. Mahomes is the best ever. And he's close to just...
Dude, he's not even... How old is he? 27?
He's young.
And he might three-peat?
Right. The three-peat, once he has 3 in a row,
That's
he'll have
4
total. He needs 1 more. And I'll
He
give
has,
it
what,
to
2 MVPs? 2 or 3?
He has 2.
2?
Yeah.
He's consistently
Not the year that just happened,
Yeah.
but the year before that,
Yeah.
and then his first year starting. Those
Yeah.
were his 2. He should have 3, though, in my opinion.
I agree.
The championship defense when Aaron won it, I think Mahomes should have won it.
There was a year Brady won, I think Mahomes should have won. I think it was Brady's last year in New England.
No.
Or second. There was a year Brady won that I think Mahomes should have. Oh, it might have been 20. No, because that was his first year in the Bucks, right?
Yeah, I don't think Brady won an MVP as a Buck.
No, it was. No, I know it was in New England when he did it. I'm just trying to think of the year, but that's whatever. And we already talked about it, but them getting James Worthy was just a huge upgrade because Rashee Rice is probably gonna. The
He'll
Chiefs
probably
are
miss a couple games.
The Chiefs are assuming he's gonna miss half the season.
Oh wow.
That's what I saw.
Wow.
Which it doesn't even matter because
I think the biggest winner from the receivers that the Chiefs added is actually Travis Kelce.
Yeah, because he gets the whole
They're
middle
gonna clear
to himself.
that middle.
Yeah.
Because those guys on streaks, man, you better be backed up. They're gonna run by you.
And don't forget, not this last year, but the year before, Hollywood was leading the league basically in receiving yards before he got hurt. He can get open and he can run.
All right, you convinced me. I'm gonna be boring. I got Lions Chiefs. We have the same matchup. Let's go. No, I'm gonna stick with the Texans because I think they can do it.
Yeah.
And since they have a puncher's chance, and I actually believe in their puncher's chance, I'm gonna pick them. You know, I will turn this camera on and throw a basketball through my TV if the Texans make it to a Super Bowl before Dallas does.
Oh, get ready to throw it.
Dude,
Dallas's future is screwed.
I'm aware. Okay.
I think the Cardinals will make a Super Bowl before you guys.
I don't, but I'll dap it anyway. Well, quick debate, because I think my siblings will watch this. Is this a dap with a P or a dab with a B?
What the?
Dap up?
Hold up.
Dap me up?
Or with the B?
Yeah.
Those are completely different things.
It's dap, right?
This is a dab. The dab, I'm not doing it, but that is, who asked?
Hold on. What is this called?
A dap with a P.
With a P.
Yes.
Thank you. They call it a dab up.
Dude,
Their generation is
dab
screwed.
Up? Are they older or younger than
They're younger than me.
Dab.
Like close to a decade younger than me.
Are they just mishearing when people say that?
No, everyone. So when I went to the Universal trip, they were saying that. I was like, it's called dap, not dab. And everyone was like, no, it's called dab. So it's just what they call it. That's what this is a dab to them, a dab up.
A dab to them is that? Cam Newton used to just dab all
This
over
is
the
dab,
field.
yeah.
What?
They call this a dab up. Isn't that unbelievable, Alex?
No comment.
No comment?
I think it's ridiculous, but
It's unreal.
This is
I don't want to get canceled.
It's a dab.
Why would you get canceled?
I don't want to get canceled. I'm not gonna, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm gonna say.
Because you're gonna say some outlandish shit. I feel that.
Oh, gotcha.
That makes sense. But there's no way that this is called a dab.
Dude, I've never heard that.
Okay.
Dude.
Now that we've gone on our tangent,
I was so confused.
you got angry. I felt like you got angry at me for like, what?
No, I was
A
just
dab?
I was just trying to think like, am I hearing him wrong?
Yeah, dab up is what they call it. It's unbelievable. Shout out to them. They know who they are. I want to sincerely apologize for all of the technical difficulties today. For what it's worth, we made our editor's job a lot easier by using this audio. We will 1,000,000% have it fixed by next week. On behalf of everyone here at the Transition Takes team, I am very sorry. But do you have anything else to say?
Alex, charge your damn laptop before you come.
That's good aim. That's really good aim. You should do that. Outside of that, thank you guys for tuning in. One last time, sorry about all the technical difficulties. It will be fixed for next week. I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.
Peace.